That was a notification to let you know that we're live on the internet. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michiels. Glad that you're here. We have a special guest tonight. Stephen Nowak is with us, and Yana. Actually, it was just a trick to get Yana to come on. We don't even care if Stephen's on. All my questions are geared towards her.
Oh, no.
And I'm just kidding. We won't do that to you.
Oh, thank you.
We have Craig Taylor's in moderation. Sean Nafsker is also there. Nick is with us, and Anthony Peregringo. He is in a bunker in Chula Vista. Glad that you guys are here. Just a quick order of business. The show is sponsored by Resurgence PPG. Go check out Resurgence PPG if you're interested in supporting our men and women of uniform. And the show is also brought to you by Torrey Pines Glider Port. If you want to learn how to free fly, most beautiful place in the United States, reach out to Max Marion or any one of the guys at the Fly Torrey website, which is flytorrey.com. That's all on hold right now because of the COVID stuff, but just stand by. It's an awesome place to go and fly. We'll catch up with some of the other sponsors. Really appreciate everybody that's been supporting the show on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you for keeping the show going. And if you're interested in supporting the show for just a price of a cup of coffee, you can support somebody's flying future. So really appreciate all those who have been contributing to the show. Want to dive right in. So glad that you're here, Stephen and Yana. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Also, I forgot my lovely wife is here.
Hello.
Erin.
Hello.
And so I want to just dive right in. There was a series of questions that I had last time that I didn't get to, and so I want to get to some of those. Let's talk a little bit about your background. I put a link in the description to your school. Stephen Nowak is an instructor. He's got a wealth of knowledge when it comes to flying. It's not just paragliding. He's got all kinds of little flying things. He's just as obsessed as all of us, probably more, about flying things. And so he's got all kinds of little things. So if you have questions and you want to add those to the show towards the end, we're going to take questions from the chat. Let's put those in, and moderators, if you will write those down as they come in, and we'll get to those, especially the good ones. Who is the single most influential person in your flying?
Oh man, that's a good one. I have a buddy that really taught me everything that I know. It started with RC gliders and then turned into helicopters before the days of the self-flying drones where you had to like practice and crash a lot, and buy simulators. And so that was always a challenge. It was kind of like a skateboarding challenge, like trying to like conquer my thumb, my thumb brain connection. And then I learned about flying. I learned about center of gravity, built my own aircraft. I figured how things fly differently, how it works. You're using the lift generally, like ridge soaring. So I got to really define the lift band, the topography changes, the wind direction changes. Like I just got to wrap my head around aviation. And my friend Chris, man, this guy works at a bike shop, doesn't have a phone, like lives totally under the radar. But that guy taught me pretty much everything I know. A lot of my analogies. What's that?
He said he doesn't have a phone?
No, I don't think so. This guy's a complete hermit, but he really had a passion for flying and just taught me. He's like, oh, why don't you try that inside out? Why don't you, try this, try that, and really taught me flying. He would take a piece of like foam. So he worked for this guy who made RC foam core airplanes. And while I was at the factory, we'd bag these things up and take them to hobby people and sell them to the RC shop. And he would take this little long piece, like a ruler, like a yardstick, but like, I don't know, a couple meters long if you're Euro, and really narrow, and be like, look, this is a really high aspect ratio wing. And we put just a little bit of nose weight on it, and he'd drop it from the top of the warehouse, and it would just glide super perfect. Like this guy really boiled it down to raw science. And I don't know, he's got to be the biggest, most influential person in all my aviation so far.
Nice. Do you still talk to him?
Yeah. Actually, I just moved back here, a few years ago, from living out in the bushes at the landing zone and here in Huntington Beach. And that's where I met him, over here on the ridges. Nice. And I since went and flown where I learned to fly RC with my paraglider. It was kind of a full circle thing. Super, super fun.
Nice. That's cool. So he was obviously a paraglider pilot.
No, he'd never paraglided before. No,
Really?
This guy, no, he just flew RC airplanes and helicopters and stuff. Yeah, but he understands it. He, like, I told him I wanted to learn to hang glide, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's this. Just think about like you have the bar as the stick in your mouth, so it's forward and backward, and it's reverse." Like he has the brain for
Nice.
it. Totally, yeah.
Nice.
I went paragliding after I learned to fly RC, but that was really the genesis of it.
You know, there's a bunch of people that have said that they learned or they got into paragliding after RC. I'm interested to find out how many people that is the case.
I think it helps a lot because like you understand energy management, energy retention, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just got into RCs this last October.
Nice.
Got a little
With a
radiant.
motor or a glider?
It does have a motor,
Alright.
but I use it only so I don't have to hike down to get it.
Okay.
So I throw it, and it's that radiant that has a little stabilization in it, and
Yeah.
little tiny thing I can just throw in the Jeep. I love it. But yeah, you learn so much, so
Well, now you
much
can
about.
build one from like a beer cooler.
Yeah.
Your airfoil, your
Right.
CG, your everything.
There's a few guys in here that are pretty obsessed with RCs, so you're
Awesome.
in good company
I love it.
tonight. Let's talk about close calls and what you took away. I'm sure that there's been some things that you've experienced in paragliding where you've had some close calls. And what did you learn?
Yeah, I just had a recent close call.
Well, so did you. So
Yeah.
talk about it.
You might have seen the pictures, but yeah, we were on a tandem recently, low save off the
yes.
750, super high, no place like cloud base. We were just talking on the way out there about cloud clearance requirements and everything, kind of quizzing her all the time. And yeah, she was getting really cold. She's like, "Oh, it's really cold up here. I'm only coming back in the summer." And out of nowhere, the giant freight train, 300 mile an hour, couple hundred people, who knows, raging loud like you've never heard.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Yeah,
out of
nowhere.
sight because it's right inside the clouds above us. Now it was 1,000 feet or something. I don't know. It was really far, but it just hit out of nowhere because you keep your head on a swivel. You get high. You know it's a pattern. I know not to go in the clouds. The joke is always like, the reason you don't fly in the clouds, it's illegal, obviously, but we have rocks in the clouds, right? In this case, a giant airliner raging fast out of nowhere. It was just that 1 second. All of a sudden, it's really loud.
I would have peed my pants.
Yeah,
For sure.
We're both just freaking out. She points. We start erupting into laughter. It's kind of that nervous laughter, kind of adrenalated, scary,
And-
close call.
And that's the picture of the thumbnail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. How did you get that picture? You had a tow pro on?
Yeah, GoPro. the
Wow. Yeah, a little
360.
360 action.
Okay.
Yeah. Max.
What was the altitude and was it a normal flight path for aviation?
Yeah. They fly through there all the time. We're like 7,200,
7,400,
7,400, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was a low save. We were 300 feet off the deck and warm. And then all of a sudden we were freezing at altitude. And we kept clear of the clouds. I know that there's, problems in the clouds. She hadn't really been that high before.
Yeah.
She, it was a tandem. So it was kind of a good experience for her to see the strategy. She's like, I never would have went out to the flats. I never would have, made some of the moves that you made to get us there. So it was a educational type thing. But man, she's like, that's why you don't fly in the clouds. A close call, one close call of many, I suppose.
Yeah. We also had a frontal collapse. And what else?
We got pinned by the wind.
Yeah, that's right. We're going backwards over crest line. That was fun. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna have to land on the freeway," and I'm like, "Please don't tell me that. I don't want to know. Just do whatever you gotta do."
Plan B, plan C, you got to plan ahead, right?
So
Even if it is a tree or a...
take us through that. You launched from Crestline, got blown over the back?
No, we launched from
No.
the 750, sunk down to 300. Then we climbed up to the clouds and had our interaction with the incoming airliner. And then we saw another airplane below us and then a little pusher plane experimental thing that went out in front of us. And then, yeah, it's really windy back there. So you have to get low. On the tandem, you don't have a speed bar, you have your trimmers. Generally speaking, you have somebody on the way to be able to use a speed bar. I've never really seen that rigged up before. I suppose it's possible, but not normal. So yeah, once you have your trimmers out, we have what we have, right? I always joke it only has to be 1 mile an hour too strong to be 100% too effing strong,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Only a little bit too strong. I'm like, no, that's 100% too strong.
Yep. 100% too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a couple of those days this year so far.
Yeah, already, yeah.
Yeah. Blossom. It's a handful sometimes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just put out a video. It was too windy and I said, oh, I'm flying backwards, 1 mile an hour backwards.
Yeah, those aren't
100%
the
too.
days that I particularly care for. And it's interesting, your GPS doesn't say -1, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It
It
just
just
says
says 1.
0.
It might say 1, and you have
Yeah.
to decipher, is that forward or not?
Right. Yeah. I
Interesting.
think mine did say 0.
It doesn't
I'm
know which
almost
way you're
positive.
pointed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. The Flymaster.
Oh, okay, Brad.
I got it on video. I'll have to go back and look to see what it said. I think it said -1. I'm almost positive. I said, oh, I'm flying backwards.
All right.
Yeah. You want to drink my water?
I don't
No,
often
I'm
have
on my way.
instruments, so it's a visual thing for me.
Yeah. Try
Look,
not to launch in that.
we're not going forward. Yeah, those aren't the flights I enjoy. I want to search and explore and strategize.
Yeah. Sometimes it just comes on. You launch it 2, 3 when it's
Yeah.
still transitioning from winter to yeah. You've had some interesting flights, and I want to encourage everybody to go and check out their website, which is Neverland Paragliding. Link in the description. Go check out their website, and there's some videos in there that you can find that are linked to his flying. He's had some really cool acro videos, and he's got some really fun adventure type videos. Go check those out. At one point, Stephen took a trip on a skateboard, and his goal was to raise money for a charity. And tell us a little bit about that adventure. I know that's a side thing from paragliding, but just tell us about that.
I started, I didn't get very far. It's a little embarrassing, and it's a life mission of mine. But yeah, I always wanted to skateboard across the country, but I'm 41 years old now, so I don't really see myself pushing. And the electric skateboards are magical, and I just like the idea of like, you know, experiencing it, not the windows rolled up and the tunes blasting at 95 miles an hour, but like, I don't know, suffer a little bit in the desert and suffer a little bit in the mountains and then actually experience it all. So yeah, I started from one coast and I wanted to make it to the other side of the country, raise money for charity. This company helped like save my dog. And when I didn't have any money, I had like $30 to my name, and they totally paid for a surgery that like a black walnut that swallowed, like she had swallowed whole and plugged her up. She had wasted away to skin and bones and all this stuff. And people had like offered me $30 to put her down and this and that. And so anyway, these people were super cool, worked till 2 o'clock in the morning and saved her life. And she's still here. She flies with me. Maybe you've seen the video with that Secret Life of Dogs where she
Yes.
flies around with us and stuff. Yeah. So she's rad, magical dog. And that's all like, you know, bonus time really that I've gotten with her. And so I wanted to support them. When I went to offer, I said, hey, I've since made some money. I'd like to give you guys the money back that you helped save my dog with. And they're like, no, just take that money, put it in an account that you don't ever touch, that is your pet account. If you do that, we're happy. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I was like, wait a minute, if I raise some money, would you guys take it? Yeah, you can donate here. So yeah, I donated $1,000 to those guys. Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. I wanted to finish the trip. I got derailed after 3 days.
It was completely my fault that he didn't finish the trip. I just want to
I
say
didn't say
that,
that.
set that straight. I know, but it was.
She was going through some things, and
Yeah, it was a rough time when he decided to go on the trip, and it wasn't his fault or anything. It was
I
just life.
accounted for all the gas money. I accounted for all the food. I hired a driver. I had the dogs. I was charging the skateboards off of the Prius. Like I brought tents and sleeping bags. I accounted for everything. I didn't account for leaving my girlfriend alone for the next couple months of summer. And I was like, oh yeah.
Couple of months. Oh wow.
Yeah, like, hey, enjoy summer. I'll be back after I have this amazing adventure. She was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but your plans don't somehow include me. And I was like, whoa, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
I charged home
Nice.
really fast. She's worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I want to talk about a little paramotor. We got a lot of guys that are in here that watch or are wanting to learn things about paramotoring. So you
Awesome.
instruct on free flight. You, I don't know how much influence you have on the acro scene, but I'm sure that people come to you for some tips on acro. Talk a little bit about paramotoring and what are some of the most common pitfalls with paramotoring that you can maybe with just a little advice save some people some problems?
Oh man, that's a big question. I'm not a huge motor guy. I did a Dodge Ram commercial. That was really cool. I got
wow.
super lucky with no experience, kind of just floated my way through that. Some guys are mad. They're like, hey, you don't even really represent what's going on. Yeah, I did that. That was rad. I've been really lucky. I think my paragliding really helped me with my paramotoring. I've never had to buy a prop. I don't know how much they cost. I've never had to buy any parts. Like my motor is mint. First try, every try. I don't blow launches. Like, yeah, there are some technical differences, but I think having a really strong paragliding background helps a lot. Like I do a lot of kiting. Like I said, I'm a first try, every try. I mean, that's my goal. Obviously, there are exceptions to that, but yeah, I think that's huge, right? There's a lot of things, right? A lot of missing fingers out there. People don't bring their fire hydrants. They don't have their streamers, like all the obvious stuff. Fire hydrants, but extinguishers, you know what I'm saying?
Fire extinguisher. Yeah.
But nonetheless, I don't know, man. I go to these events. I see a lot of carnage. I kind of call the trike motors, the sky scooters, they're man, what do we call them? The sky rascals. Yeah, you have all these like super old guys that would be driving little rascals around, like, but they have their motors, you know, and they're blowing launches, and it's just a total shit. I mean, yeah, sorry. It's entertaining. How about that?
Yeah.
And, I wish it wasn't so. I wish it was more consistent. I wish I saw more skills out there. That's what I wish I saw. Maybe
I
I'm
saw
the right
something the
place.
other day that was impressive. Ozone put a video, you probably saw it, where the guy was on a trike and he did a reverse launch on a trike.
Oh, rad.
I'm
I didn't
thinking,
see it.
how in the world can you do that?
I didn't see
I
it.
guess it can be done.
That's
There's,
awesome.
there's a few trike guys that watch the show.
Yeah, you hear that, paramotor crazy?
Yeah, where are you at,
Go
paramotor
to the
crazy?
sky.
Trike guy.
He's in there.
So if you could choose a motor and a wing combo right now, you could just walk up, grab anything you wanted, what would it be?
Oh man, I'm the wrong guy for that because I don't know a lot of the motor stuff. I have nitro that's lightweight, that I like it. I see people having to grab their wagon and take 2-3 trips. I just kind of throw it over my shoulder and walk out there. I like that a lot. I really don't know the motors all that much, and I usually just fly my Acro glider. Right now it's a Emily, AirG Emily Piece 20.
How you like that, by the way?
Maybe a slightly bigger wing would be nice for the negatives. I'm not super solid with helicopters and stuff, like really heavily loaded. It gets nasty pretty fast. I have 3 parachutes in paragliding. I feel a little naked on the motor. I really wish I could cut away. I don't have
Ooh.
that, you know?
That's one of my questions. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, I mean, for me, I like it. It's heavy, it's complicated, it's expensive, but I think I'm worth it.
Nice. So with that, you typically take your motor out. You'll fly on days, obviously, where there's not a good lapse rate and you can't get up by nature. So you make your own thermals on your back. What are you typically going out to do when you go motoring?
Usually around here, I can go down to the beach and we can't go really high. So I just have fun with what I have, you know, like I do things that I'm 100% on. I'm not trying new stuff over the water where it's going to have to be like an issue. I have to explain like, oh, I screwed up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to land on PCH. You know,
Yeah.
like I really don't want to have that episode as be like, for me, I don't know. I don't need that on the community. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to burn a site. So I do things that I'm 100% with. But yeah, it's neat to go look for dolphins. You know, I took the motor to Slovakia and I got to fly over castles and like these little kids, they're looking up at me. Like I felt like Santa Claus, like spreading inspiration and joy. Like, look at the possibility of humans. Like you
Yeah.
can fly.
Yeah.
This kid will always grow up. Like there was all these little kids out there. I don't know. It's just like going back in time and saying, hey, we can do this. I don't know. Like that was that was communist back in the day, like
Right.
we think it's gnarly now, you can't find bread. So
Right.
now I just have nylon and a motor. Like,
We
hey,
can find bread. We just can't find toilet paper for some reason.
yeah. I had a hard time finding flour the other day and stuff, or yeast.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys make your own bread?
I just started some sourdough, man. I'm like 4 days. I got bubbles.
Nice.
It's actually a fun process to watch it like go through. Yeah.
So cool. Magical.
So what advice do you have for the more experienced pilot?
Oh man, what do you want to do? My thing is, I don't know. I always talk about the bad thing. I lost a lot of friends, and I wish people would just be happy where they're at. You don't have to go get the hottest, newest glider. You don't have to compete. Find what it is you're looking for. There's so many disciplines out there. If you want to do acro, do acro. But if you're happy floating around and meditating, do that. Whatever it is, I'm not pushing anybody. One of my friends got hurt. He was like, there was a demo days. He's been flying for a few years. He's thinking, yeah, let me try that new hot wing. It was a 2-3. It would be like a D glider now, like I'm progressing. I'm ready for it. That's the next step. And he doesn't remember the helicopter ride to the hospital, but he remembers recovering from his broken pelvis and everything. And he's like, the guy flies B gliders now. He's like, yeah, I've been flying for a couple of decades. I fly a B glider. Like, oh, shouldn't you be flying a hotter glider? He's like, oh, why? It does everything I wanted to do. So
Right.
I like that. I like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I take it slow, right? I might do some things that people think are crazy, but I do things that I've done a billion times. And I don't just go out and try to do everything in one SIV clinic or something. I've never done an SIV clinic. I do it over the dirt, but I have 3 parachutes and cutaway, and I have baby steps, right? It took me a long time to pump up those rhythmic sats up into those tumbles to just go for it. Now it's like, yeah, but I've done 30,000 turns of that or 100,000 turns. There's people that have come up since I've started, I've taught people to paraglide that can now whoop my butt. Like they do all the maneuvers. Like that's so cool. I love seeing it.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm a baby stepper. It's taken me a long time to get where I am.
I'm the same way.
And I don't
Take
do
your
that. People are
time.
like, oh, you should compete. I'm like, man, I can't even do the requisite maneuvers to enter a competition. It looks crazy because nobody sees it, but really I can't even do half of that stuff. I just don't. But I have fun with what I do.
Gosh, man, it's a whole nother level.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll start their infinite tumble in a twist.
Oh, twisted, straight to the spin, whipping around, doodads. Pretty intense. It looks like RC helicopters these days.
Yeah. I don't even like to be backwards for very long because I'll do that every once in a while. If somebody's chasing me, just turn around and wave.
Yeah, that's fun. But you ever go like past that half?
Yeah, it's
all of a sudden start kicking and getting crazy. Like no.
Yep. Yeah, I have a real. It has to be super smooth. Has to be very calculated.
Yeah.
These guys are thrown into it.
Not me, man.
So I want to save some of these questions because there's some good ones. We're going to talk about some stuff. Before we move on, I want to give something away. A guy named Jared, his last name's hard to say, but he told me that you can say it like sausgin or sausage gin. Okay. So we're just going to say Jared. Jared has his own garden. Okay. And he's got tons and tons of different fruits and vegetables. And he created this seed packet thing that he's going to give away tonight on the show. It's they're $40 if you want to buy one, but he's going to give one away. We're going to spin the wheel for that. I'm going to see if I can pull up the picture. It's super cool. And I'm stoked about it. This has nothing to do with paragliding, but I think it's awesome, especially in the time that we're in. So let me just see if I have the picture. Okay. Stay with me. Can you see that? So that's what you'll get. And he has a list. If you message him, he'll tell you what they are. That's about it. Let's spin the wheel. Sean, are you ready?
Yeah, I was getting a little bit worried there for a second. Like, hang on just a minute here. I got one more name to put in. And then,
Oh my gosh.
and then after that, After that, I'm done with names. So I'm done with names officially right now. I'm done with names. So no more name taken for me.
91 people. Oh,
That's
sorry.
right.
2 people just joined. 93.
This thing has been blowing up like crazy, and the chat has been freezing up here and there. It has been chaos. Now, when I got the message on chat talking about something about seeds, I was like, what seeds? So sorry about that, Jared. My apologies.
What kind of seeds are they?
I was lost a little bit there. Like, what seeds are we referring to here? Here we are with the wheel. You
And
see
we
all
give
these
them away.
names? Ready?
Yeah, go
We're
ahead and spin
spinning.
it.
We're spinning right now. Oh, this is suspenseful. Ooh.
It is a really cool thing. I'm stoked about it.
I want one.
John Adams.
John Adams, congratulations.
Congratulations, John Adams.
Got some
There's some
seeds.
See. Okay, so
Jealous.
here's what I want you to do, John Adams. If you'll reach out to me, message me on the website, paraglidingtalk.com. Paraglidingtalk.com. Go to the website, go to the /contact, and then just fill out your information. And I'm going to get you connected with Jared. So stoked about that.
I know I want some.
He's sending us one, babe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have a tracking number and everything.
So we get to plant a garden.
Yep. We're going to
This
have to
kitty
grow a
shit.
garden.
Skinny Chef Shane jumps in and says, wait, I'm here to spin again.
Too late.
Sorry, guys. I do the best I can. Sometimes
hope-
the chat
yeah.
likes to fight me, you know?
I just hope that he has toilet paper seeds.
Like grow a toilet paper tree.
Yes.
Cotton, babe. Cotton.
Yeah, but it takes one roll to grow one roll.
I saw that. And that video was great.
Hey,
All right.
Stephen Nowak's Kodiak Express says Stephen Nowak's new shirt design is dope.
Oh, you have a
we got
shirt?
couple new shirts. Yeah, I know. I was supposed to get you a shirt years ago. I ended up wearing
Yes.
them all.
You took my shirt.
They became my uniform. Yeah,
This
but I
is
got
I
a
want
couple
one
new
too.
ones. We got this upside down one
Oh,
here, which is
wow.
actually made from a photo. That's pretty rad.
$5
And
extra
then we
bucks,
have
is it?
another one that she had drawn up. That's the eagle
No,
pattern.
I didn't.
No, you had drawn up. Yeah.
Yeah, I hired a friend artist to do it for us.
She didn't like the
Nice.
shirts that are out there. She's like, we can
Yeah,
do
we
better.
gotta do better.
nice. I like that.
If you send him one, I want one too.
Okay.
I promised to send one last time and never did. It's one of
I'll
my
take
broker
charge.
promises.
I'll remind
wait,
him.
Wait, if they're getting one, I want one too.
Oh, jeez.
They're all on the website. You can check them out.
Yeah, go buy one.
Where's
Buy one
the
yourself.
site? Hey, put it out there. Where's this? What?
All my
what site is it?
cousin, my brother, they're like, hey, send me 2, 3, this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, okay. You guys
Where's
don't
the
see
site where
how this
people could pick them up at?
They can go on the website. It's
works. Yeah, Neverland. T-shirt shop,
Neverland,
yeah.
neverlandparagliding.com.
.com.
Yep. The link's in the description if you want to go check that out. And
She's
then
got
those
the
are
artistic
pretty rad.
touch.
What's that?
She's got the artistic touch.
Yeah, I like them, man. They're super cool.
Yeah.
But it's upside down. I don't know if you noticed that.
That's how it was taken, actually. That's right side up in my book.
Okay. All right.
That's what I
I put the-
was thinking.
I put the link in the chat.
Oh,
One
there
of
you go.
my,
Perfect. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, it's I try to get enough UV on the bottom of the wing too, you know. It's equal opportunity fader.
That's right. I wonder if the bottom is,
Yeah,
is
there's the 2
less
designs
susceptible.
there.
Nice.
Which I really like.
Oh, I like that blue one.
Yep. I do
That
like
light blue
those.
one. That's really pretty.
Try and
Where's
get
the
some
color?
long sleeves going.
There was a guy, Andrew Finnegan. He asked the question. He said, "Are you related to Chad Nowak in Final Glide? He's a semi-famous FPV pilot."
No, I don't think so. But maybe. I guess we're all related. You go far back enough.
That's right. Andrew Finnegan. It's all good, man.
We're all humans.
They are brothers.
Yeah.
Final answer. What happened?
Your
You get a
mama.
message?
Yeah.
She said she wants the shirt.
No.
Oh, Eric's book. Yeah, my mom bought me Eric Farrell's book. It just shipped. It just came in. Very cool.
Nice.
Yep. let's talk a little bit about site preservation and your experiences over the years, good and bad, about the site preservation.
Man, that's a good one. We're right now trying to deal with these insurance companies, which is kind of funny because it's like for us, by us in a way, but that's politics. Can be fun. But yeah, it's that's a tough one. I think motoring especially, right? You find a cool little spot that's good with the airspace, and then you bum out the neighbors, right? Everybody wants to show up. Hey, you found a cool little secret hole. So I don't know. Takes a little bit of regulating. I don't know. What do you call that? Yeah, self-regulation. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. We all want to get some, right? We don't want to be the one that doesn't show up and have a good time. I don't know.
We
Our
have a
site's-
huge, sorry.
Our site's tough with, it's a club. It's not like somebody owns it. They can't just make the rules. So everybody has to vote to make the rules, which is nice, but also no one can get together and agree on which direction they want to go with the site. So do you want a country club where all the exclusive highfalutin people, or do you want like a public club where everybody's invited? Right.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. So
Speaking of clubs, I forgot to mention something. These guys are our sponsors. There's a flying club called the Skywalkers. They sponsor the show, and Skywalkers are in Kentucky, Ohio. Tri-state Skywalkers.
Yeah,
that's right. Indiana, Kentucky, or Ohio. And there's a link in the description if you want to join them if you're in that area of town. But flying clubs are amazing because of that. You can learn stuff from each other and keep each other accountable for reasons like that. Site preservation is so critical. The show is also brought to you by iFly Indiana powered paragliding. And they have a great school there in Indiana. Kevin is the contact if you want to reach out to them. iflyindiana.com is the website. And then the show is also brought to you by Lone Star Paramotoring. Lone Star Paramotor is the website, lonestarparamotor.com. The guys over there, Ron Turan and his team, they have a really good school. If you're in that area of the country, go check them out. Check out their website and say hi. On that note of site preservation, I was considering this. There was a spot that I saw today. I was doing some exploring, and I found it looks like an amazing spot to fly from. Now, I'm not going to say anything about it, but what I was considering is if I was to, I'm hopeful in the next year or something, getting a paramotor. And if I was going to go fly from that spot, I was thinking I would stay super low key, and I would launch from there and just get the heck out of there. My car would be there. All my stuff would be there in the car. And then I would dip so that there wasn't like this lingering around. And I would say this would be advice that I would have, with my finite wisdom, to just get up, get out, and not make a spectacle.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the quote. It's Henry David Thoreau, and he said that government is best which governs least. And pretty much when man is ready for it, that's what he shall have, right? Unfortunately, man doesn't seem like he's ready for it. He likes to be governed. Like we like to break the rules until you make a rule. We go, oh, there's not a rule for that.
Yeah. Right.
I went to Slovakia and I was flying over this castle. I was like, hey, what are the rules, right? I didn't do a whole lot of formal homework. I'm just asking. It's a little village, just quaint little village from back in the time, right? It's modern day, but it seems like the 1800s or something. And I landed and the guy's like, man, if there weren't rules before, there's certainly going to be rules now.
Oh, no.
Just complete menace. Like, I was going nuts. It was rad. I was in a foreign land, and it was just a little quaint village. There's nobody there, but yeah.
How did you choose to go there?
Well,
I'm from there.
she's got some family. They have a house. They have everything. Yeah, it's rad.
So
It's
were
a
they
cheap
freaking out or
vacation.
what?
When they have a house and
No,
cars.
I mean, they were enjoying it at first, for sure.
I was slaloming between the street lights right over the top of the cars that were going by, just like I was raging over the castle. They're trying to put this castle back together. It's like ruins, It was cool. People
Wow.
like it. Grandma's out there gardening with their
people
seed
enjoy it.
pack, actually. Yeah.
Tumbles and stuff.
Yeah.
Motor, but,
talk about how you brought your motor and what were the things that you learned from taking a paramotor overseas.
Well, I pretty much broke it down. Like I said, I have a Nitro 200, the titanium jobber, and I took the gas can off and I brought one of the bladder bags, the gas bladder bag. It's not like a hard gas can, and it's brand new, and they're cheap enough, you know. And I flushed out the carburetor with a bunch of canned air, like computer dust cleaner, and I stuffed a bunch of dryer sheets in there because everybody knows dryer sheets have multiple uses.
That's right.
And then I taped that over with some tape, and I stuffed it into a soft ozone rucksack, right?
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like I put the frame pieces up inside as much as I could. I didn't have a gas tank. I brought the little bladder bag into my carry-on, and I covered it with bubble wrap as much as I could. And it was in a soft bag so that it would stay under the weight limit because you have your 52 pounds, whatever it is that they let you go with.
Right.
And so I was right there. If I had a hard case, it would have put me over. So I had right at the weight limit, and I checked it, and the guy freaked out at the TSA. He's like, "Oh, this motor. And he grabbed the body and he came over. He's like, "Motor?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Okay, go ahead." And he let me go. And I was like, "All right." I was worried about bringing it back home because I'd been running it the whole time I was over there.
Oh, right.
Because that's gonna be even smellier, you know, when I took
Yeah.
it back to the new. But no problem, man. They let it go. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's great information. I've always
Yeah.
wondered how that works.
Yeah, I tried to reuse some of the bubble wrap because it's not so easy. You can't just go down to your local Walmart in Slovakia
Oh,
to find bubble wrap and these kinds of things. And so I tried to reuse it, and it wasn't as effective on the way back. Those are the only real damage I've had to my motor, actually. It was not from crashing, it was from shipping it.
right.
Yeah.
I've heard that before too. And at least it came back.
But yeah, I got it. Yeah. It was
Yeah. You
awesome.
made it home.
Yeah.
Do you take tandems on the motor?
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. It seemed pretty cool. I just haven't gone there. It'd be nice. It seemed like a good little place over here by the beach, man.
Yeah.
Good
Take some-
winds, perfect. Don't have to be too agile. It'd be nice.
Was there any free flying over there in Slovakia?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
chairlifts, man. Yeah, chairlifts.
So many
Wow.
people paraglide over there. I was shocked.
We showed up one time. There's 200 people. It was a cross country competition. We didn't see 95% of them an hour later. They were gone.
Wow. Over the back.
We showed up just a little bit too late.
Did you?
We were flying on the side of the road. People would pull over and they'd be like, "Oh, we paraglide too," and I just could not believe how many people paraglide out there.
And they don't have the no trespassing thing. They don't have like signs everywhere that's like keep out
So you can
liability.
land anywhere.
So like, yeah, you'd land and next to the sheep farmer or whatever, and he's just
Yeah, as long
tripping.
as you're not damaging any property, they are totally cool with you landing in their fields or in their yards, whatever.
Yeah, different culture.
That sounds like. Is it relatively cheap to live there?
Yeah, compared to here, definitely.
Slovakia.
You're taking me to Ireland first.
I didn't do any homework before I went there. It turns out it was just like this place I lived in Oregon. It's like
Oh, really?
4,000 people, really green,
Where in
Lots of
Oregon there used to
rain.
be?
up in the northwest, like Tillamook, Salem.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm from there.
nice.
From St. Helens, Scappoose, Portland,
Yeah,
Oregon.
exactly. It's just like that.
Okay.
Just like
Wow.
Slovakia. There we go, babe. This,
Yeah, with the
is,
White
Like home.
Castles. That's cool.
is it English predominantly?
No.
No, Slovakia.
Speak English, you would be able to get around. There's lots of people that speak
That's
it.
why I hung out with her the whole
But
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we
I
got
mean,
close.
We were in a little town, so it was different. But if you go into the cities, most people speak English.
Mm,
That's rad.
how neat.
I want to talk about. We had a guy on the show. His name's Anlo O'Connor. You know him?
Yeah, one of my friends. Yeah.
So Anlo was talking about moving forward in the sport, and the question was, where do you see the sport going? And he brought up the idea that we're going to be moving towards cutaway as in place of reserves. What do you think about that?
I'm a huge fan of cutaways. Do I believe it's gonna take over in the general population? I have no idea, man. These people are weirding me out. I don't know what's going on. I thought we all agreed to keep right except when passing. Apparently not.
No. No.
So, do you guys want to cut away? I have no idea. I think it's amazing. I really like it. Yeah, it's a little complicated. We've had some problems, right? We have a lot of fatalities with these cutaways. So there's something that hasn't quite worked. People are misconfiguring their stuff. I made some of these mistakes myself. I tried to bake it out of the equation. I'll just go right out and say it. If anybody's listening, man, if I could save one life, right, on my cutaway, I use a swivel, okay? I got this 1,200-pound shark fishing swivel on my cutaway bridle because people are forgetting to attach to the cutaway.
Ooh.
Now, it's really hard to explain without showing you, but you have a
Mhm.
bridle. It's like a static line. Have you seen like World War II where you just hook up to the wire and people jump? They don't go
Yep.
into free fall. They don't pitch. It pulls for you, right?
Right.
If you watch some base jumping videos, they're holding the pilot chute for the guy to jump. You don't let go.
Yep.
You need to extract it, let it pull out of your hand, all these kind of crazy things.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we have the strap. Well, when you go to screw in your carabiner, that little bridle will get multiple twists in it.
Right.
So the solution that people come up with is, well, I'll disconnect it, I'll screw in my carabiner, and then I'll reattach it. Well, you
Oh.
can see where this
Do it
goes
the
wrong, right?
Yeah. Wrong
There
way.
you go, not me. I will do it. But I'm telling you, multiple humans so far have proven not to do it. And I was one of them.
Ooh.
I did it on a test because I wasn't a skydiver or a base jumper. And I bought one of these things and I didn't really trust myself. So I was like, I wonder if my pack job works. I watched a video online, right? I packed it a few times. So I took it tandem with a water bottle in my harness as a passenger, and I'd fly over the landing zone lower and lower each time. And I'd pull that cutaway and see if it opens. So one time I pulled the handle and my harness started falling and falling and it never stopped falling and it just exploded on the ground. I was like, that could have been me. Right. And so I baked it out of the equation. I said, wait a minute, I'm never, ever, ever going to make this mistake again. So I got some fluorescent paint to remind myself, but it already has red on there and that didn't stop everybody. So I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the swivel on there. So now I can screw on my, it's like a shackle, like a round U-bolt shackle with a bolt through it. So I can screw it in and I don't have any twists in my bridle. Right? There's no incentive to ever disconnect the bridle from the bolt.
Right.
I can swap gliders. If my glider's attached, so is that bridle. Yes, I'm trusting a mechanical device, but I'm telling you, the human brain has already failed a lot of people. So I've tried to bake it out of the equation. And I was just talking to Bam Bam, right? John Malberg online, because Justin passed away over there at Horseshoe Bend doing a cutaway, from what I was told. Not first person privy to all the information, but he tried a cutaway and he didn't have it attached and he's no longer with us.
Oh.
And so I was talking to his friend John, who also is a big cutaway guy. And I said, man, and they were doing some silly stuff. They were taking that bridle and putting it through the shackle, which makes the 3-ring release maybe bind up. Oh no, I'll never forget it. I'm like, no, that's a bad answer. Oh, I'm going to weld this on. I said, yeah, no, but you probably won't. You're going to fly it for 6 more months until you do. Like, just get a swivel. And then that same day, he passed away in a base jumping accident. It wasn't the fucking swivel. Excuse me. It wasn't the swivel, but yeah, really, really bad. It gets me emotional. But.
This show is brought to you by Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden, he runs a school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training, go check out them. Really appreciate the sponsorship from him. The show is also brought to you by flymyppg.com. If you're in the Michigan area, you can get some good training over there. Go check out their school on their website at flymyppg. That's fly, M-I, like Michigan, ppg.com. And Mike Cotter will get your feet off the ground. Show is also brought to you by Paramotor Props. If you are interested in getting the best deal on paramotor props, like we talked about earlier, if you blow one up, you can go get one from their website, paramotorprops.com. Appreciate their sponsorship. And finally, the show is sponsored by ppgsmoke.com. If you want to add some smoke system to your paramotor, you can go and get a really good deal. It's like a quarter of the price of what most guys are charging. Go check that out. Oh, I just realized the chat stopped. My chat stopped.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're watching.
Yeah.
It freezes
Mom
up
gave
from
20
time
bucks.
to time.
Thanks, Mom. Mine-
John,
There it goes.
I see you. I see you.
Now we're back. Yeah. So appreciate all the sponsors of the show, by the way. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And go check out these websites. All the links are in the descriptions. And so what do you think about maybe doing a class on cutaway stuff? Is that something that you would consider?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that I'm fairly experienced with it. I'm not a base jumper.
Yeah.
I dabble in skydiving. I have my own gear. I'm not super professional about it or anything, but I have some opinions. I've seen some mistakes. I try to bake out some of these mistakes so that you can't do that, you know? Like, we don't need, they're supposed to, so ironic to get hurt by your safety equipment.
Unnecessary.
It's not right.
Absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
used round parachutes, you know, rounds are cool, but you see them all get tangled. You see people using 1 and 2 and even the second one. How about you guys? You guys use your parachutes ever?
I've never had to use it.
Anybody? You guys flying? Yeah. No.
I don't
You
fly.
carry a parachute with your motor? I know a lot of people don't even take a parachute with their motor.
There's a few guys that do not, and I'm always a little bit weirded out by that. What do you guys, what do you think? Anthony PG, you got a reserve?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. In fact, yeah, I was going to ask Steven if he flies with one, and of course, I'm sure he does if he flies with 2 with pre-flying. But do you fly with 1 or 2 when you motor it? And I don't know if you mentioned what motor setup you have yet.
Yeah, I have a Nitro 200 titanium jobber, and I have the one in the side compartment.
Yeah.
And if I know I'm going to be throwing down, then I'll put a front mount in there as well.
Yeah.
I have the heavier Acro bars. They're really not that substantially different than the normal ones. If you look at them, you almost can't tell, but if you weigh them, I suppose you can tell. So I'm not totally sold. I know there's that one bolt in the side, and then you're dealing with that can shear. You have the one bolt for the swing arms, and then you have the harness that would hold you back.
Yeah.
Man,
You're talking about if it gets snagged or something like that.
I've blown out harnesses, right? Even paragliding harnesses. I've just ripped the seams right out of them, pulling G's. I've broken the carbon boards in the seat on the motor.
Wow.
I have them like doubled up. Like, it's an amazing power. I've broken A lines. So a couple times, like once I was in Elsinore just free flying, doing some tumbles, and I broke my center A and my center B. And you know that forks to a few more and then some more. So it was like the whole middle A's and B's were gone on my glider, and the whole wing is just like, oh, I'm always looking for a good reason to cut away. And boom, I got myself a 7-cell base rig, and I go land in my destination of the landing of my choosing instead of where I was going to end up. Another time I did that at in Crestline, where it went nuts, and I got to land by the highway, go home, sleep in my bed, come back the next day, and go look for my wing. Right? Instead of me being there as it's getting dark. So when I'm on the motor and I'm pulling a lot of G's, I'm just thinking, what is my plan B, plan C? What do I have? I have flotation, which makes my lightweight motor a little heavier because I fly over the water. And I'm just pulling an amazing amount of G's, man. I'm worried about lines that just go pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that flies paragliding without a reserve, at least one reserve?
I've done it, like hike and fly. I'm just gonna catch a thermal to go get my van. Yeah, I've
You're not
hiked
really
up
going
and-
that high. You're just gonna kind of do.
Oh, I'm high. Yeah, I had to climb up, 1,500 feet of thermaling, but I had the little like F-light harness. Sometimes I put a front mount, sometimes I wouldn't. But yeah, I've lost some friends. My one buddy tried to barrel roll on his new speed wing, and he didn't have a parachute. And I wish he did. Like it's just, I know
So what do
hikers
you-
are trying to chop their toothbrush in half and drill holes in the other half, trying to save weight.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it.
I think it
Seen
seems to be more people in paramotoring don't fly with a reserve, obviously,
Yeah, I
than
see that.
paragliding. So what are your thoughts about that? I
You
mean,
know,
it's your second chance, right?
you're flying flat and level in smooth conditions. Sack of potatoes, you're gonna have whole potatoes at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like they might not hit the grass, but they're gonna land. Like I don't really see that big a problem. But I've had people break their mailons. Like you have lightweight gear. These, and especially with these gliders, are more optimized. They're using lighter weight lines where they can, heavier weight lines where they can. There's manufactured defects. Things happen. So I've seen people flying flat and level, and it just all gets nasty. So I'm a big fan of parachutes, man. I'm a big fan. I know they're heavy. I know they're bulky. I know they're expensive, but I think you're worth it.
Right.
There's a great question from Yankee Paramotor. He said, what does Steven attribute his harness failures to? Is it G's or UV rays, just cycles? How long is an everyday use harness good for? Great question, Yankee.
Is a great question. I've always thought that if you're going to save money, it would not be on the wing. It would be on the harness parachute combo. Most people have never thrown the parachute. Old ones can be good if they're not in moist environments and whatnot. The webbing is really internal of the harness. It doesn't get a lot of UV for the most part. Some of it does in the front, but a lot of the webbing that's going through the back of the harness, it can look cosmetically faded and old. And I think harnesses are pretty strong. But they do fail. I mean, we put almost too much faith into these things, and I've seen some nasty ones. You know, an interesting harness failure I've seen. They didn't. This is the craziest safety total tangent. You know how the harness strap, like you have an adjustment, and you have that tail that sticks out, and it's double backed on itself and tacked down. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where like you have a piece of webbing, and the very end of it is kind of doubled over on itself and sewn down. Well, this harness didn't have that. And I walked up to it and just slapped the harness, and the leg buckle just flew like 20 feet away. You know how you adjust it, right? You peel it back and slide it open or slide it closed. Without that little double backed butt on the end of the webbing strap,
Right.
it can just go to infinity, right?
It needs tension or something, huh?
Yeah. And
Not that it needs tension. You just pull it through.
just pulls all the way through. It opens all the way till it's not even strapped through anymore.
Right.
And it's just a really dumb little oversight thing that I caught one time. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? You never thought that little thing was so critical. But man, if your leg straps blow open, you're in a bad spot.
There's a guy that his name's Fly Swamper. He said, how long will you use a set of carabiners before preemptively changing them?
I love this question. I asked the guy that I respect really highly, and he says, if you had stainless steel beaners, I wouldn't really worry about it. If you had aluminum beaners, if it was your birthday or Christmas, I might treat myself to some stainless steel beaners.
So you think like every year, something like that?
Aluminum is known to fail. Have you seen these tandems where these guys are blowing out these aluminum beaners? They never should be there, but they're not regulated. They're in some random country, hopefully, usually. Like, I don't want to see anybody do it, but yeah, aluminum doesn't have the elasticity, right? It gets brittle with a bunch of flexes. You don't realize it, but every time you load and unload, it has a little bit of a play. And so they'll just get brittle and break. I know it's random. I know climbers climb with aluminum all the time, but I'm a big fan of steel. I'm a huge fan of steel. What if there's a little air bubble, something that didn't get through testing? This is probably a 0.1% of 1% paranoia thing, but I'm on it, man. I'm on it.
What's the cost difference between aluminum and steel beaners?
The stainless, what's that? What's the difference?
What's the cost difference between the two?
It's your life, man.
I know, right? So my point is, what a small price to pay.
It's small price. It's weight thing. Most people want the super lightweight stuff. Like I said, you're drilling holes in your toothbrush handle and cutting it in half. Like people want this super lightweight stuff. I like Ozone's line on some of their parachutes. They were saying, yeah, there's some lightweight stuff out there. This is about as light as we care to make it. We just wish you knew what you were getting. You know, like they'll sell it, but it's you. I think.
What G rating should they be?
Oh, I don't know. They go in like kilonewtons or some crazy number, but I go for the stainless. That's what I'm looking for. It has more elasticity. It's a stronger metal. And yeah, if I can find a good deal, I'll swap them out. I got no problem throwing away gear.
So here's a question.
Hold on to this gear. I think people sell old gear.
Here's a question. Is there such a thing as a harness inspection? Like places you send your harnesses to have them inspected and checked out? Or is there a certain way to make sure that your harness is in good shape?
Yeah, my answer there is the sponsor of the show, Torrey Pines Glider Port, had a really big shop where they do all the inspections, the lines, the everything, right? So I know they're shut down right now with the pandemic scare, but yeah, that's a great resource to go to. That almost anybody, and if you're not close, you can ship it in. There's other places as well, but I'm just I'm with my gliders, I'm swapping them a lot sooner than I used to. Right, and my beaners I'm swapping sooner than I used to. My harnesses I'm updating. I'm just it's expensive that way, but I gotta do it. I've just blown out a lot of gear, and I'm
Stainless steel.
obviously at the extreme end where I'm really stretching and pushing and stuff. You know, like it's I'm, I'm super careful of it. I know it doesn't look faded, but I'm ready for a new one. My harness blew out. It was the Super base version, by the way. And I wrote to the guys. They had the instruction on the manual was a little wrong. I communicated with them. They were really great. They updated the manual to my liking because it wasn't very clear. They had used an image in their harness manual that would be applicable to any other harness in the world, but it's not applicable to that base harness. It's just like a stock picture they put in there that I followed because hey, it's in the manual. When I got to looking at it further, I was like, wow, that's not right. And I had a crazy moment. And then I further thought it through and I said, no, I got this wrong. So I had them be a little clearer in their manual for that harness in particular. But that harness, for whatever reason, the stitches came apart. I'm going to bum some people out, but I'm super honest. I went to France and I saw one that was coming apart, same model. I went to Argentina, same model was stitching apart. I wrote them. So I lived in the bushes, right? I had no running water or electricity. I didn't have, I had a really bunk car, like an old Neon. And I wrote him, I said, hey, this harness costs more than my car and my house combined.
Yeah.
They said,
And it's ripping.
they told me it was like a bunch of years ago. I mean, it's gonna be like 6 years ago. And they're like 10 years ago. They're like, yeah, we're working on a second version. I was like, wrong answer. I'm not happy. So when I was in a tumble and one side just completely ripped, the whole leg strap thing ripped. I was using the backup strap we were talking about, the actual structure of the harness.
Ooh.
And it was all skewed and weight shifted funny, and I landed. And I sent it. They said, we're going to make it good as new. I was like, that's not good enough. And what about the other side? Okay, yeah, we're going to make it stronger. And they re-sewn it and made it super reinforced and sent me back my harness with a T-shirt and speed bar. Yeah.
Just yours. Just yours. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So for the record, I have an Ava Sport now. It's really, really cool. The cutaway, it has 3 reserves. I'm a big fan. It's super comfortable.
3 reserves. Have you ever had complications with the first one?
No, I have. Well, yeah, with the cutaway. But the thing is, with the cutaway, if I was to go into my lines or get wrapped up, I can't use that as my pilot chute anymore, right? I don't know if you understand how it works, but it's using your paraglider as the pilot chute to extract your base.
Got it.
Sense?
Yep.
But if that's not going to fly away from you because it's wrapped around your body,
oh, right.
It's not going to do the job of flying away.
Got it.
So
if you're
now
wrapped
I'm
in
stuck to my traditional reserve. So I have 2 of those.
round.
She's got so much information. You should write a book. Like seriously, that's so much information.
It's scatterbrained. I'm sorry.
You've been telling him that?
Good
Yana?
stuff.
I've been trying to encourage it. First
Seriously.
just paragraphs, like 2 maybe on the website. I don't know. He's got a lot of good information. I think people would enjoy reading it. And yeah, he's good at it. So
Someday.
Could save lives. Yeah.
We'll see.
One last question about the cutaway stuff. What obviously there's going to have to be some additional training to fly the cutaway. Obviously training on
to fly it. No, to operate it. Maybe you need to have people service it for you. It's kind of weird to dumb it down, but no. What is your sequence to throw a parachute currently?
Yeah, just grab the handle, yank it, throw it out.
Okay, I would take a little further. Step number 1, I look for the handle.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Step number 2, I'd grab the handle because you could waste time grabbing your jacket or something. You're not grabbing your handle.
Yeah.
Look for the handle, grab the handle, pull the handle, extract your parachute. Look for some clean air, throw to clean air. Maybe grab that bridle, give it a tug, maybe pull it in, throw it a second time. right?
Yep.
There's a whole sequence that can go with that. Do you know what my handle is for the cutaway? Look for the handle and pull. Look for your new
Boom.
brake toggles and fly your perfectly good aircraft to the ground.
Well, I guess what I mean by
Simplest
that is
sequence ever. You just
there's
pull, boom.
a lot more speed involved, right? With the landing, aren't you? It's like
No, you have a
skydiving rig.
flare. Yeah, but you have a flare at the end. You're round. You do not have a flare. You have a pendulum.
Yeah.
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 So
I really like that idea, and I'm interested on how it would work with like my harness. I'm flying a pod with a little fairing in the back. Is it
Yeah.
something that's possible? What does the future hold for that? I'm interested.
Me too, man.
I think it'll be great.
On one of the test videos that they had Super did for their base harness when it was first coming out, they showed like a cross-country pod harness, and he got a little twisted when it opened, and that was the only clip I ever seen of it. Little interesting because you're kind of laying on your back, you're not upright. You have a little more rotational kind of moment there, but hey, you can sit up as soon as you hit some turbulence, right? You're like, oh, so that's right where I would be. But you know, no two reserves are the same. Your mileage may vary. Well,
Your mileage.
Yeah.
One question I forgot to ask earlier was that in that car, the car commercial,
Yeah.
the Ram commercial, what color wing were you flying?
I had a red leading edge, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. One of the guys. I've seen the
Yeah.
commercial 100 times, but I don't know which one is you.
It's
I
real
told my
quick.
dad.
It's just that, yeah, there were two of the gliders were mine, the green one and the red one. Yeah. It was cool because I got up first and I was flying around and they're just like, okay, come through again. And the guys were scrambling. Some of the other guys were struggling on the ground. And I was the least experienced motor pilot ever. I totally bluffed my way into that commercial. Super.
Yeah, but you got a lot of experience with kiting, and I personally think that the motor is it's cheating. You get a motor on your back and it's cheating. We work for our thermals, especially Acro guys. I don't know how you guys stay in it.
You know, it's not a substitute because I couldn't take my paraglider over the castles. You know what I mean? Like it opens up some things. I can't just go take off from the beach and check out the dolphins with my paraglider. So they're not substitutes for each other. And I can't, people think you're just going to turn the motor off and float around and catch thermals. Not on my little glider, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm coming out of the sky pretty quick. So that's not really how it works for me. Yeah, 18 or 20.
Nice.
And I'm 190 pounds plus my gear.
Love it. Well, we're going to go to the after show. If you are one of the Patreon supporters, send me your email. And if you have some special after show questions for Steven, he's going to stick around for just a few more minutes.
Hang on. We got a good question from Tom Power. What is the deployment time cutaway compared to a regular shoot?
Man, in my brain, I have a whole conversation where I'm like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Oh my God, I don't know if it's going to work. Do I need to use my backup? I watched the video. It's 1.2 seconds. from the first carabiner leaving, every frame, I film it like 160 frames a second, and it takes like 90 frames and it's open. On a good one. Like there's variable. Like again, your mileage may vary, but yeah, it's fast, man. I feel like I lose 50 feet. They say 300 feet is safe.
Oh, wow.
My friends jump off this cliff over here. It's 160 feet. They do almost the exact same sequence of a PCA type deployment, and they do it regularly, and they're open at the very top of the cliff, and they still try to hit the pinata. Yeah.
Nice. Right on.
They had a Velcro suit, and they're trying to hit the Velcro wall. That was pretty cool.
Where was that?
Rupida, this little rock quarry that we have over here by the 60. Yeah, they wore these Velcro suits and they try to smack against the Velcro, big inflatable Velcro wall.
I want to try that.
Or they put bowling pins up and they try to hit the bowling pins, like a slip and slide bowling pin.
Kids. Velcro suits at the wall.
My wife said I'd like to do that with the kids. Yeah. Put them in Velcro suits and throw them at the wall.
We have 4 boys, so yeah.
That's a handful.
It's a great timeout.
That's how you babysit. You stick them to the ceiling. I'll come back and get you down when it's time to eat.
Yeah, we'll have to go.
All right, we're going to go to the after show. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you. Go support the show on Patreon, and we'll see you next week, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time, paraglidingtalk.com. If I don't see you in the air, I'll see you on there. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get it off now. How do I turn this off?
Oh, geez. End
stream.
End stream right there.
No, it's right here.